Today on Paranormal Insights, we're going to take a look at the UFO explosion and why there is an increase in activity.
And we have a viewer question from Amy who wants to know how she can be a better influence on her husband and promote more wealth and happiness.
And a quick look at the kitchen witch, Jenay, and her special products. Joseph Ernest Martin.
I'm Cindy Grayson.
And this is Paranormal Insights, where we bring you the latest and best from the metaphysical world.
Here we give you real tools and insights to your questions as we bring you answers from beyond the ordinary.
Cindy is a certified hypnotherapist with a specialty in past life regression. She works with spirit guides and other white light entities as a medical intuitive.
Joseph is an award-winning psychic of over 25 years, and he's the author of the international bestseller, The Quest to Row. Joseph is also the recipient of the Visionary Award of Excellence.
You know, the topic of UFOs is one of my favorite topics because in my family, my own dad, who lived up in the state of Washington on Vashon Island, was working on a construction site because he did steel work. And when he was doing this work, a group of the guys at the house saw this UFO brightly going or above the construction site. And when they chased it, they went out to the construction site to take a look at it. And this was like in summertime, but the water puddles that were at on the ground, because you know they spray the dirt because of the construction dust, were frozen. And my dad said, you know, we don't tell a lot of people this because it just sounds too crazy. But he goes, I think that was like a real UFO.
Well, no kidding, but at least he shared it with you. I'm sure he didn't share it with very many family friends.
Not at all.
There's just too much judgment that goes on regarding this, and really the number one fear among people is fear of judgment.
There is not a person today who has not been exposed to the idea of UFOs. They exist in popular culture, in movies, radio, television, print, and virtually every form of media. The idea that there are real flying saucers was ridiculed with intent by the U.S. government, and denial was considered standard practice for many agencies of the government. A record number of UFO sightings have been reported in the last 2 years, mainly because of the ease and availability of cell phones, cameras, and video recording devices. Regular, everyday people have been looking to the skies and recording what they see. Though this type of evidence is important, it's when actual government officials finally disclose the truth that real progress is being made. Recently, the former Prime Minister for the Defense in Canada came forward with this statement.
I said, UFOs are as real as the airplanes flying overhead. That gave me the dubious distinction of being the first person of cabinet rank in the G8 group of countries to say so unequivocally.
According to Peter Hellier, we have not only been visited by flying saucers, but we've been working with 4 different alien species. Does this blow your mind? A former precision electronic photographic repairman with top secret clearance, Carl Wolf, when working with NASA, saw photos of an alien base on the dark side of the moon.
About 30 minutes into the process, he said to me, in a very distressed way, by the way, we've discovered a base on the backside of the moon. And I will testify under oath before Congress.
Many former United States astronauts have now come forward to talk about the UFOs that they have personally seen. Astronauts like Major Gordon Cooper, Donald Deke Slayton, Major Robert White, Joseph A. Walker, Commander Eugene Cernan, Ed White, James McDivitt, James Lovell, Frank Borman, Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, Maurice Chatelain, Scott Carpenter, and most recently, Buzz Aldrin.
So anyway, we're getting ready to go to bed, and I'm looking out the window, and I see a light moving at a distance, some distance, against the star background. And of course, the stars are not moving, they're inertial space.
Sure.
So we...
And cosmonauts from Russia have come forward to talk about their UFO encounters.
That we are not alone in the universe. I believe that someone or something of extraterrestrial origin has visited Earth.
What does this all mean? According to UFO researchers, the increase in UFO activity and the type of UFO activity that has been occurring seems to say that our space friends are no longer willing to be silent. Many UFO researchers believe that in our lifetime, this lifetime, we will be witness to a real, undeniable UFO event that is made public. MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, receives and catalogs thousands of UFO reports each year. And countries like France, Belgium, Brazil, Mexico, and Argentina have released many of their previously classified UFO reports and redacted information to the public. This is an incredible outpouring of UFO fact. But the fight for truth must be pushed by us. In the Bay Area, where I live recently, a triangle-shaped UFO was filmed flying above Oakland, California. And shortly after that, a group of UFOs were filmed above San Francisco. Do these UFOs come from other planets or dimensions or parallel universes? We just don't know for sure. Are they moving us to a point of new acceptance? Are they showing us that our place in the universe is part of a choir, not as a solo act? Even the Vatican has published statements that the existence of UFOs and the Catholic faith would not be in conflict with each other. It could be that God, or the great creator, has more in store for us than we can possibly imagine, and we're well on our way to joining our brothers and sisters from other worlds. The increase in UFO sightings, disclosure of UFO reports, and the increase of government officials finally coming clean about their experiences is all part of a larger plan to get us ready for the introduction of real aliens into our general society.
And why would you open up knowing that you're probably, more than likely, going to be ridiculed and sometimes your family's safety is threatened?
Absolutely. You know, my experience in this is, of course, you know, I travel a lot. I am, you know, meeting lots of people. I go to different cities. And this one gentleman, after a presentation, asked if I could give him a ride home. And it was a friend of a friend, so I said, sure. And so we're in the car, we're driving. And he says to me, you know, I'm a lawyer for the military. And I said, well, that's fantastic. And he said, and I've seen a UFO. I said, well, tell me about it. I'd love to hear it. And he said, well, it'll sound kind of weird, but I was driving down the freeway and I saw a UFO up in the sky, and this UFO came down and actually landed next to the freeway. And I pulled off, stopped, and got out of my car and started walking toward it. But as I started walking toward it, it shot up and took off. And he goes, and I can't figure out why the heck that would even happen.
I have to say that I am by no means an expert on UFOs or extraterrestrials. I'm not even sure if I qualify as a novice. But we all have to admit that the world would be glued to our televisions if a UFO landing was being reported live by the mainstream media. Think about that. Is that the level of minimum proof that you need to believe that extraterrestrials visit the Earth? That's such an interesting concept, since the general public often does not trust the mainstream media. But they might believe a live report because they consider mainstream media to be the most valid reporting of UFOs. That leads one to the conclusion that believing in UFOs is strictly based on the person's perception of validity. Of course, some unidentified objects seen in the sky are later identified, and there are plenty of hoaxes out there. Assuming that UFOs exist, are they visiting Earth more often? Or are people just noticing them more? Could it be similar to the medical community, where once people are more aware of specific symptoms, then more reports are made about specific illnesses? And why does the number of sightings increase during the summer months? Could it be that more people are outside to witness visual anomalies in the sky? That's something to think about, isn't it? There are said to be several species of races of ETs that visit the Earth, including Pleiadians, Arcturians, Reptilians, Andromedans, Venusians, Nordics, tall whites, tall grays, and short grays, and I'm sure there are others. Some ETs are reported to be here to help advance humanity in their own spirituality. Other ETs are reported to be here to assist with humanity and justice for all. And some are reported to not be of assistance to the human race, but to run experiments for their own advancement. There are those who believe that ETs walk in human form and walk among us, and they are referred to as starseeds. Others believe that some ETs are in positions of high government power throughout the world. And my favorite thought-provoking concept is that the Earth was possibly colonized by ETs, thus establishing the three primary anthropological races, and that ETs visit as a way of checking in on their earthly experiment. Although the beliefs and descriptions of ETs vary, one thing can be agreed upon. UFO sightings are being reported in higher numbers each year. Are you going to wait for a live television broadcast of ETs before you form your own opinion?
I cannot wait for this to finally happen.
Yeah.
You know, Bud Hopkins, who wrote a number of really great books, he wrote the book Intruders, they did a movie about this. He talks about the Greys in one instance, where the Greys, they have kind of a hive mentality. And so they think different than us because they're alien, they're different than who we are. And they would take or abduct people from two houses right next to each other. But they would take the guy here and the girl here, and then when they returned them, the guy would be wearing the girl's nightgown and the girl would be wearing the guy's pajamas, and they would wake up and they would be like, you know, what the heck is happening? But to the Greys, the idea of possessions doesn't come into their psyche because they have a kind of a hive mind or a hive mentality, and so you know, it's all the same. Everybody owns everything in a way to them. And aliens, we've got to expect aliens to act alien, not like us, not like how we would think of things or how we would act.
Right. And what's funny is we probably all look alike to them. And, you know, they put clothing back on them, so what the heck? But you have to admit, that would make a great party story.
Check out, of course, MUFON, the Mutual UFO Network, Jaime Maussan from Mexico, Stephen Greer from the Disclosure Project, Stanton Friedman, Ruben Uriarte, Bob Dean, Richard Boylan, John Rhodes, Linda Moulton Howe. And on YouTube, you can start with UFO TV Studios, Anonymous, FO, and Third Phase of the Moon, just to name a few. Here, there are many more credible and hardworking people in the UFO field. Take this short amount of time to just see what is really out there, and you'll be amazed at the large number of people who have come forward to add their support to waking up our planet to the truth about UFOs.
I have other friends who've also privately shared their stories. These are sane, rational people who are afraid of being ridiculed and possibly jeopardizing the safety of their families, but they know their experiences are very real. Could public belief in ETs be parallel to the public belief of, say, near-death experiences? 50 years ago, no one would dare to share their experience for fear of public ridicule. However, over the past 40 years, near-death experiences are now shared openly, and many people believe the reports. So, will UFO sightings become generally accepted in the near future? Are you more open-minded to the possibility that other life forms exist? And I have friends who are psychics, clearly. You know, we run in that circle. But even a few years ago, a really top psychic in Sacramento said, you know, Cindy, it's only a matter of about 3 or 4 more years, and there will be an event such as a landing that has to be believed. Nobody can cover it up.
Absolutely.
So.
And this is going to change the world. If you have a phone, if you want to look up at the skies, please do record it. Keep the information, because this is where it's at, and our whole society, our whole planet's going to change 3 to 4 years, hopefully sooner, when we are able to absolutely accept the idea of being in a choir with other races, other species, and not the big kids on the block. And now we go on location with Jenay Marontate, the Kitchen Witch.
Hi, we're here today with Jenay Marontate with the Kitchen Witch Gourmet. Jenay, tell us, first and foremost, about the name Kitchen Witch. I understand there's some history to that.
Well, Kitchen Witch is actually like a Scandinavian folkloric thing that you hang in your kitchen, made out of straw and sticks and hay and stones. And back in the day, they would take these kitchen witches and hang them in their kitchen, and it would keep your pots from boiling over, your spices perfect. It would keep harmony in your home. So they're really nice to hang like above your stove or in the doorway or the entrance to your kitchen. So kitchen witch is just a folklore thing that you kind of hang for happy fun and whimsy. And
that's fun. I think that's fascinating. I hadn't heard of that until today. So I think our viewers are really going to be interested in that. And I understand that for years you were an aromatherapist. So how did you move into teas?
Oh, the journey of life, right? So for many years I did aromatherapy, focusing on essential oils and soaps and candles. And just as time went on and the years went on, I kind of moved from scent to taste. I think it was kind of a natural progression into just the different modalities of health and wellness and fun and whimsy. And I just moved from scent to taste about 5 years ago when I created Kitchen Witch Gourmet.
Fantastic, and I've tasted your teas and they are very, very good. But your recipe blends are very unique. You have come up with them. How did you come up with those blends?
Oh, well, really all the blends of tea just kind of pop into my head. I don't know if I'm just gifted by angels or fairies or whatever. So I'll just start thinking of a recipe, and then I get up and try it out and, tweak it until I get it right. And then I'll have something called like Love Tea number 3, which is probably my bestseller. And that's a really nice green tea, pomegranate with a little damiana and horny goatweed and red roses. And it's just delicious, and it's love tea. What can I say?
So you've got a real theme going with your teas, that they're fun and whimsical. Is this intentional?
Yes, it is intentional. We all know that teas are healing and teas are uplifting, and I just really wanted to stay with fun, uplifting, bright, and vivacious, such as Enchanted Chai or Whirling Wizards, or, oh, what else do I have? Prosperity. Who doesn't want a nice hot cup of prosperity?
I would love it.
It's delicious.
Good. Okay, and I understand that your teas, specialty teas, can get very expensive because of the ingredients.
Right.
And I understand yours are actually affordable. I mean, what's your price range here?
I really try to keep all teas in the $12 range for about 4 to 6 ounces, just depending on, what tea you buy. We go by the jar size, not necessarily by the ounce size. So it just, I want it affordable so everyone can try it and enjoy it. And there are some teas that are very expensive that I just don't carry, so I can keep in a moderate price point and fun and delicious.
Fantastic. Okay, so I have a question for you. If I were to buy tea, and let's say I didn't get around to drinking it for a few months, is it still just as fresh and potent? And
it is. Our jars are all glass jars, glass apothecary jars that are sealed, and that allows freshness to stay locked in. And as long as you keep your teas, like essential oils, out of sunshine and in a cool place like your cupboard, maybe not your cupboard next to your stove, but in a dark place, your teas will be fine, and they'll last for about a year or 2, or I'm sure longer if you don't. They just kind of gradually get a little weaker, but they never really go bad.
Oh, that's so good to know, because I tend to buy a lot of specialty teas at once, and it's like, uh-oh, how long are these going to last?
Oh, yeah. Well, the secret for that is you just start making pots of iced tea and putting them in the refrigerator.
Love it. I have done that in the summertime with guests, and it goes very, very well. So, okay, Jenay, I'm sure people want to know how to get a hold of you and look at your products and place orders. So how can people find you?
Oh, that's easy. It's kitchenwitchgourmet.com. That's it. Hope to see you.
Thank you so much.
It's always fun to spend time with Jenay, and she's at a lot of expos that we are at. And what's fun with Jenay is that she has spiritual gifts, and she used to read, in fact, I think she still does, but at these expos and for our featured segment, we were filming the kitchen witch part of her and all the different herbal blends she has. She has some really nice teas and mixes for dips and stuff like that. But it's not just that she's using her head, she's using her spiritual gifts to develop these blends.
And they're very tasty. I've actually bought a number of them. They are delicious. And she's also a singer. I don't know if you know that.
No, I didn't know that.
Like a torch song singer.
That sounds like Jenay.
She can just totally fit that too. This was so great to have that time with Jenay today.
Yeah, she's always a lot of fun, and she can always tell a good joke too. Now now we have a question from a viewer, Amy, and she wants to know how to better influence her husband and promote wealth and happiness.
My question is, how can I be a better influence to my spouse in my relationship? How can we promote wealth and happiness?
Amy, what a beautiful question for you to ask with such loving intent for not only your spouse, but for your relationship, your marriage, being together. I've asked my guides to come in, I've asked your guides to come in, and let's see what they have to say on this question, on how you could actually be of better service to your spouse and to the relationship where money, wealth, prosperity is concerned. So the first thing I want to tell you is, oh my goodness, you have been through a lot, darling. This has not been easy for you. This has been difficult to get to where you are today. Life hasn't been a bowl of cherries getting to where you are. However, you've went forward in a very beautiful way, and in the past, you've tended to be in the background more. But now, this year especially, you got to kind of step up a little more, like the Hermit card. You kind of have to come out of the cave and be more into the sun and into the sunlight, being heard, being seen, being more active. Now, your desire is to stay in balance, and of course you will, because you always stay in balance. Though you are much more magical than you give yourself credit for. You can call to the universe, you can call to your higher self, you can call to your guides to give you much more help and information, and Amy, they actually will. They're waiting for you to talk to them directly. They are going to help you. I want to tell you that to me the issues seem all around money, wealth, prosperity for you too. And so your husband, who happens to be a very nice person, a really good man, he is going to need help to stay focused on what to do. You're going to be drawing up the plan more, being more encouraging. He is going to be the one who does it. But what he needs is a cheerleader, not a coach. So that'll be a fine line that you're going to be walking to make this happen. You are going to be drawing ideas about money and physical money to you this year. Your husband's going to be reaping that money next year in 2014 as it is today. I want to remind you also that your confidence is going to make this happen for you. So step up, allow your magical self to come forward in a much bigger way. Now, this year again is the year to plan, put things together, and think about what it is that needs to be done. You're going to be great at that. And then really kind of handing off in a way to your husband, who's going to be next year taking that and actually bringing in, reaping the field, so to speak, of money, wealth, and prosperity for the two of you. Now, all your cards here are so wonderful. They're so great. They really are. And it's because you are that person. You are caring, you are loving, you have a wonderful spirit. So step up a little bit more. This next year is going to be really fantastic, and this year itself is going to be a little bit more of the planning phase. But this is going to work out great for you, Amy, and your spouse. And I want to tell you, thank you so much for such a loving and caring question.
Amy, this is a great question that I actually hear quite often. Your guides are showing me that you are actively pursuing your spiritual journey with pure joy. You're excited about the many spiritual factors that are increasing your personal vibration. You know your journey is right and it feels great. And if it's right for you, it must be right for your husband, right? Wrong. This is a common situation for couples. One partner is enthusiastic about everything they're learning. So they notice how much better they feel, how much easier life gets when their vibration is higher, and they truly feel they have found the secret to life and happiness, and they have. The problem is that everyone is on their own path at their own pace. As much as you want your spouse to experience this joyful feeling and insight, you can only share what he's interested in listening to. If he's not interested, let it go. Your spouse has his own path to follow, which may not align with yours. And it's your soul development to recognize and learn how to enjoy your journey without interfering with your husband's journey. You can promote wealth and happiness for yourself and on behalf of your husband. Be a role model. Share how you are manifesting wealth and happiness. But don't imply that your spouse must do the same. Your guides are showing me that you're inclined to make subtle but insulting little comments when you get frustrated with your husband. please avoid those negative comments. Those type of comments come from ego not being in check. When you have the urge to make such a comment, take a quick inventory of your ego. Is it that you feel that you know best and he must listen to you? If so, that's ego and let it go. Instead, continue on your beautiful spiritual journey with love and joy. Your spouse will feel and see your happiness increasing. Be grateful that you have this wonderful opportunity for more spiritual development.
I loved Amy's question, and I loved what you had to say for her. And I really love that both you and I, when we're addressing these questions for the people who are asking, can really come at it from different angles and different perspectives to be of the best service we can.
I know, and what's interesting, even though we come from different perspectives, it always overlaps. Every single time we give a bigger picture because we know that there's a whole picture, not just a few puzzle pieces that clients are coming to us with. And the fact that she's excited.
She is.
She's on a wonderful journey.
She is.
And let's face it, when we have the secret to life, we want to share it, and she just can't light that light under her husband, that fire. But she doesn't have to, and she shouldn't.
Well, she is such a loving, fantastic person, really. I loved meeting her when I was in Mount Shasta. She was just so caring and so present. I got to know her a little bit over 2 days. And this was something that I was so glad we were able to help her with on this question.
That's great. And as long as we can keep a little more peace in their family while she continues with her spiritual journey, knowing that his is just a different time, it's a different path. But together, they can really knock this out, and they could just manifest all the wealth and happiness that they want.
We want to answer your questions and address your topics. If you have questions you'd like answered or topics you'd like us to look into, we're easy to find. You can find me at questtarot.com or email me at joseph@questtarot.com.
And you can find me at cgraysonhypnosis.com or email me, cindy@cgraysonhypnosis.com. You can find this program in Sacramento on Comcast Channel 17. And in the San Francisco Bay Area, you can find us on Comcast Channels 23, 28, 29, and 33. And throughout the state of California, you can find us on AT&T Uverse Channel 99.
Additional channel listings can be found at betv.org and att-services.net. And we're also now on Roku, as well as different cable channels throughout the Midwest. You can find us on Facebook, Vimeo, and YouTube. Simply search Joseph Ernest Martin, Cindy Grayson, or Paranormal Insights. And be sure to watch our new series, The Magic Minute, where you'll learn easy-to-use, everyday magic exclusively on YouTube, where it only takes a moment to make magic. And when you do, be sure to click like and subscribe. Please send us your questions and topics,
so we can share our paranormal insights
and answers from beyond the ordinary.